Welcome, everyone, to the wrestling show. It is your favorite time of week. That is where we tell you everything that happened. And like the old line said, we watch so you don't have to. I'm from the Lingus Mafia. My name is Cav Manning. Along with your number one source. You heard what I said. That's the number one source in all of pro wrestling news. The talented Mr. Billy Body.
Before we start, can we pay tribute to someone? Because, on a serious note, because it's
Why do
May.
I think I know where it's going? Go ahead.
Yeah, obviously we have to do this. It's May, and forevermore now. May, every year in wrestling, May will be remembered for the loss of somebody in the industry. So, Adnan Burke, let's pay tribute to him. I'm going to do a 10-bell salute. And obviously, I know you probably got on your little soundboard there, you probably got the gimmick. But from one Brown that's been unfairly mistreated on social media to another Brown who was unfairly treated on social media, I'm going to do the bells myself.
Okay.
All right. Ding. 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 I lost count. Is it 7? Ding.
I think you're on 5.
Ding. He deserves more if I'm over. Ding.
Let me do this too.
Ding. Ding. I don't even know what I'm listening to. I think that's 10.
Yes. Oh, we only all knew him all so well. Holy God. What was it, 4 weeks?
We'll think of this loss. 5, I think.
Wow. That is fucking...
It's been since the Raw
after
Mania.
Yeah. Wow. That is, I mean, shame on them for even trying to get a guy who's not from that world and, throw him into the fire. He never did anything. And they had these other Phillips guy, all these fucking guys that were fucking good. I don't even know their names. That's how funny that is. I always think it's Tom Phillips, but it's not, right? What the fuck is his name? Is it Todd? Tom? I don't fucking even know. And then there's Vic Joseph. They sound fine. You don't need to know who the fuck they are. It's like an offensive lineman. If you don't call their fucking name, they did good. So
I think it is Tom.
Yeah. But yeah, and Vic Joseph used to do, wasn't he one of the fucking Raw guy before too, and with Corey or whoever? And it was like, they were fucking good. They came up through the rank, did NXT, all that shit. I don't know why they feel they need to fucking always fuck with shit and change. Like, oh, that's the reason people aren't watching Raw. They don't like Tom. I'm like,
because Tom, and when I was watching Raw and it was just fucking tanking through the whole of the last year, I just thought if you just got rid of Tom and Charlie and brought in this Irish guy and this Indian guy, it's like a joke. The Indian man, the Irish man, and it's like
walk into a bar.
These jokes that you walked into a bar,
walk into a Thunderdome.
Yeah,
fuck.
And it's exactly like that. Like, and you brought these two guys in. The Irish guy I can't stand. The backstage guy.
You know what's funny is, I think Phillips was the one thing that wasn't a fucking problem all this time for a fucking year. It was the one thing that you didn't fucking worry about. And then they were like, we're changing everything. We're fucking doing this. And I mean, Pat McAfee isn't a fucking disaster or anything. It's just more of, I don't give a fuck. And another one, it's like, well, why is he even fucking there? It's all that. They just fucking...
I think if they were going to do this, they should have tanked hard. They should have put McAfee with Adnan.
Oh my God.
Instead of having Corey or Cole to tidy them up. They should have just put them together. If this was a case of Vince being Vince, they're all saying oh, he likes to throw people in the deep end. He likes to fuck with people. Then let them just fuck with each other. Let it be just let it be something that you tune in for, where people are like, hey, the wrestling's shit, but you got to listen in this week to see McAfee and Adnan trying to do the show.
The funny thing is that they have zero problem with Saxton. That he's not. I'm like, how is he fucking still there? I go crazy. I even wrote in the notes where when something happens and they put the camera on them, he's always like looking at what's going on still, like they're cleaning up the ring, and he's got this bewildered like, oh my God, what just happened? And he's got this fucking look on his face. It's always overacting. I'm like, he drives me out of my fucking mind more than anybody else. So, hell, they should have just named Adnan, General Adnan. That would have helped.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. I don't know what they do next. Hell, at this point, they might as well just put Cole and Graves to do both fucking shows by themselves. Back and forth. Fuck it. Why do you even need to fuck around now? 2 and 2, done. Make them work.
Put Vince out there. Put Vince back.
You know what? Fucking true. But with that fucking voice at this point. Yeah.
He can't speak now, yeah.
Yeah, it's got that, he's got that Bret Hart, gotta clear your throat voice, where anytime they talk, you constantly go, because you're trying to get the phlegm out of your throat when they're talking. It drives me fucking crazy. But I mean, you think they couldn't? I mean, they have enough color. That's the problem. They have the color guys, not the colored guys, the color guys. And they need play-by-play, because otherwise, call Foley, who was fantastic. Meanwhile, he hated doing it because Vince was in his ass the whole fucking time and wouldn't shut the fuck up. Let the guy, the guy who's actually good, he won't shut the fuck up in his ear.
Maybe this will be where CM Punk lands.
But that's the problem. He doesn't do play-by-play. He's the other color guy. They could have color out of their ass.
He could do the play-by-play. He could do the play-by-play.
You think so?
I think he knows all the moves and everything, yeah.
See, I just think when it comes to the play-by-play, I think the genuine excitement really helps. And Adnan was fucking, that fake fucking, God.
When I heard they were making the change, I thought, when I knew that the people were coming in, I thought Corey was moving to color. I thought it was like a promotion, like, you're ready to now be like the main guy. I don't know why they just don't try that.
You mean move to main commentary?
Sorry, main, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've done this before in the minor league indies, right? And it is a fucking scary world when I had it the worst ever. Talk about being thrown into a fucking fire. I'm making my debut as as a color commentary guy, by the way, which color commentary, me and you could do that shit all day because you're pretty much busting balls and you're a bad guy, all that shit, right? I go there for the first day, and they go, "Oh, our play-by-play guy isn't coming today. You have to do everything." And I'm like, so this is my first day doing this, and now it's do everything? What the I fucking wanted to kill somebody. And he goes, "Yeah, you've seen Joey Styles. Motherfucker, like that's a fucking easy job." People think that's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And that's like, podcast by yourself too. You're talking to a wall. You're not getting any reaction. So it was, oh God, if I could get my hands on that tape to play on a fucking show, oh my God, you have never heard anything so fucking bad. It was horrific. And I was self-conscious because then there's fans that are sitting next to you kind of, so they could hear you and you're embarrassed. It's a fucking nightmare. So to do actual calling of the moves, I think they should just do what they had. They had Tom. Just fucking leave it at that. I'm pretty sure either him or Vic Joseph will be the guy in the fucking seat next week.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, you've got rid of one brown person. You'll need to even this out somehow. I can see them shifting things around and
get Booker T back.
Yeah, well, you've got Byron there, so that's ticked off. You don't have a woman there right now.
Yeah, get Renee back. She'll go into labor during it.
No, not Renee, but maybe what's her name that does?
Yeah, what's that girl's
Taylor.
name? Yeah, there you go.
She does the bump. She could go on there.
See, that's the thing. I'm telling you, it's just different if it's calling play-by-play instead of if you're just a host. That's fine, whatever. But that's a skill. I mean, there's a reason JR was the fucking greatest. And Umar was like, oh, they should get JR back. I'm like, no. I mean, I'm the biggest JR mark where, I bought that fucking Wrestle Kingdom when he did it remember, he was gone for so long. And then they had him do that. It was, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. And I bought the pay-per-view just to fucking have him. And it was a bore because you don't know anybody there. You can't get, I mean, you remember Attitude Era. You know, somebody, that shit was exciting. And he was genuinely screaming and yelling. Hell, they should fucking grab Morrow. He fucking screams and yells, and you see all that when the camera's on him, he's jumping up and down. I mean, that's genuine.
That was the one. That's the one they really fucked up with, like with whatever. I mean, he's fucking mental though. I mean, he has like fucking some serious issues. He seems to me like it's not worth the fucking hard
hassle,
work. Yeah. When he comes in and out and does his boxing, it's almost like, okay, he can get himself mentally there for once a month or what. Yeah. But it's the every week thing with him. I don't think he can do it, and I don't think that they want to do it and produce him. I don't think Vic Joseph will come up from NXT though, because what will happen on that show then?
Don't they have, who else is there? Because I saw some promos for NXT while I was watching Raw, and I was like, I don't even know this guy. I don't know if it was color guy or what, but I was like, who's this? I think he was a bald-headed guy. And I'm like, who's he? I mean, I haven't watched fucking NXT other than, you know, their takeovers. I don't know shit that goes on over there.
Well, I mean, NXT is a much better structured show. It's what Raw should be. When you watch it, like if you don't know people, it's more difficult. But actually, if you watch last week's show and you look at the segments that they did, where they had fucking Candice and Hartwell having manicures and celebrating their title win, so they shot something completely independent of the show. Then they had sit downs with Balor and Cross, who are wrestling tonight. So yeah, they did that independently, and every time they shot something for everybody to get away from the wrestling, like the backstage, the feud that's going on at the moment with Ted DiBiase and Cameron Grimes.
Yeah,
like that's going on as well. And then obviously you have your matches, but then everybody could wrestle. You finish up with the cage match again, but it was all structured towards building towards. They were building next week's show. And they had a main event on this show where they changed the belt, and they had like backstage vignettes for everybody. Plus, I think they even had stuff for a debuting character that's coming in, like a promo for them. So the show is so speedily like broken up. It's not difficult to watch NXT. The only difficulty is coming into it and being like, oh, I don't know everybody or whatever. I've actually been watching the 1 hour highlight show, but then I caught last week's show because they've been cutting Ted DiBiase out of the highlight show because it's not a top storyline. So I watched the full show last week, and it's just a much better show. It's much more like SmackDown than Raw. Like Raw is just this one. AEW is very similar, like in terms of it's just match, but they do stories, and they do like plan towards the next pay-per-view or they do enhanced feuds, and they don't have people touch if they're going to face it at pay-per-view. That's the main difference. There's a lot of boring wrestling on there. I'd say for me, AEW is like the third best show of the week behind SmackDown and NXT. But Raw is just this fucking never-ending like cycle of matches that don't end and are happening for no reason, and you've seen all these people fight like it's like every time like stuff is on there, it's like everything must get to part 5. It's Shayna and Shayna and Nia versus Natty and Tamina part 5, and it's Drew and Kofi can't just have it out this week. They have to wrestle for 21 minutes to have a non-finish. I'm sorry, like there's got to be an unwritten rule where it says if you go past 15 and you take that level of investment from people, if you invest people past 15 minutes, you owe them a finish. You can't do this finish and make people watch it again. It's like you just basically just said, we wasted the first 40 minutes of the show with the promos and then setting up the match, and then and you come out of it with no number one contender, and we have to waste 40 minutes again next week. It's so it's insulting. Like this shit insults you, whereas everything else like doesn't. You know, they have to fill time, but they don't do it in an insulting way. I mean, well,
I agree with Russo now a lot more than back in the day. Like what he says is he had a storyline. He has stories, and the match is secondary. That just happens. But the storyline is your main focus. And I always agreed with that. Like, people always say, oh, I'm tired of the talking. I prefer the talking over the fucking match.
That's not entirely what he said. He said he had nothing to do. He said the match was secondary to him. He said he had nothing to do with laying out the matches. He never said it wasn't important.
Oh, okay. I mean,
he's talking about. You're confused about him talking about his job.
You know,
he said he didn't care about who was going over or whatever. He just did the in between bit, and then he handed it over to Pat Patterson. That's what he actually said that when he was talking about Pat Patterson.
See, and I think that if he's talking that way, that's fine too. But I'm more along the lines of, in the pay-per-view, give me the great match where this is fucking fantastic. During these things, I don't care. There's not a fucking. If there's a storyline very involved, then I actually care about the match. But these storylines are, quickly.
Oh, I heard a podcast today. I heard the podcast today go straight off the bat. Like, we've been giving Raw a lot of shit for these last few weeks, and I have to say, I really enjoyed the show. The other guy he goes, I think this was the best Raw of the year. It was just good match after good match, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the problem. Like, 'cause your podcast is more listened to than my podcast, and this isn't Smart Wrestling Fan. This is post wrestling. But
there was one match that I said this is a great match. It actually, I noticed that it was a great match, and that was the Riddle and Kofi, the other one, Woods, because there was some fucking wild shit that happened. That fucking jump up suplex was wild. But that was one match where I was like, that's a fucking good match, and it caught my eye. The rest of the time, I'm lucky to have even seen the screen during a fucking match. Because when it's Riker versus fucking AJ, do you think I'm fucking watching that fucking match? I'm on an iPad looking at fucking golf videos at that point. You just don't care. They don't make you give a shit.
I did during Raw this morning. I filled out... I got behind on my betting spreadsheets because the NBA. So the way we're doing the NBA playoffs is that we're doing a lot of props, and we'll lose numbers on props.
Yeah.
So for example, tonight we have James Harden for 8.5 assists as a bet, and last time we had that bet too, but everybody bet it and it ended up on 9.5 assists by the day of the game. Mm-hmm. So you need a whole extra assist to win the bet. So you want to get at the best numbers. So you're putting out bets for games that are not happening on the day. So so for example, yesterday was the day you had the Bucks playing Miami, right? Mm-hmm. But on the day that the Bucks played Miami, we put out that bet with James Harden, which finishes today. So the fucking spreadsheets are a complete mess because everything's in the wrong fucking order, and you can't. And there's all these bits on there where you've put the amount that you staked, but it has no return on it, so it just all looks like losers until you feel because all your maths is out of whack. So you need to go back and fix as much as this as you can, and really gauge where you're at with your numbers, because people always ask, how much have we made this month? It's it says we've put out this much and won this much, but we have 7 bets pending that aren't finished yet, like Portland to win the series and Lakers to win the conference, etc. So it's all fucking messy like that. So I was tidying all that up during Raw. That's what I was doing. I was fucking aligning spreadsheets to make sure that everything was in sync, so I could give people proper answers as to our status for the month.
It sounds more fun than watching Raw. By far.
It's not fucking fun at all. It's the worst job.
And that's what tells you about what Raw is then.
It's the equivalent of fucking the other things I put off, like paying council tax and electricity.
Push it off, put it aside. You know what? I have not won a bet since football. I've bet a couple times on a couple things, and I have lost every fucking bet. And I'm because football, I actually fucking kind of know a little bit. And I'm I go, the Warriors can't lose this fucking game. What, are you kidding me? I fucking, like, you got to be kidding. My buddy, Fausti, big Warrior fan.
In Memphis?
Yes. He's a big Warrior fan.
I lost on that.
Oh, good. At least I'm not the only. But he goes, the game is about to start, and I go, I just fucking put money all over this fucking Warriors game. They're going to fucking, and he goes, oh, I have zero faith. They are not going to win this game. And I go, why would you? I go, this game should be a butt fucking. They almost fucking beat the Lakers. They should have beat the fucking Lakers. And he goes, after that letdown, I know my fucking team. And he says to me, they'll fucking be losing. They'll come back and fucking get real close to tie, and they'll fucking blow it. It fucking exactly what the fuck he said. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I needed him to win by, 4.5 or something. And I was like,
yeah,
oh.
I had it a day earlier, so I had 3.5, and I had 3.5 points there. And then I took it in game when they were down by like 6 or 7 at one point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then it came back, and I was like, and I thought the opposite. I was like, well, that's it. Like, when it went to overtime, it was like 99 all, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they missed the last shot to win it by 2.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them to make that shot because it was like, don't make that, because I win one bet.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was at the time, I was like, I don't want to win one bet. I want to win 2. And if you get to overtime from like them being 8 points ahead at one point with like a few minutes with 4 minutes left or something.
Yeah.
And the Warriors pulled it back. I was like, normally in sports, this team's head is just going to absolutely drop down. Like, they're going to be a complete mess. They're going to be like, we fucked it. How did we fuck this? Like, they're going to be in no mental state to play. But they were. They fucking won easily in overtime. And that was shocking to me. Plus, at that point of the playoffs, the road teams hadn't been winning at all. I mean, and that has actually remained pretty consistent throughout. There's not a lot of road wins there. Mm-hmm. I mean, even tonight will be the big test because LeBron is 19-2 in the playoffs in his career off a loss.
Huh. They always lose that first game, and then it's like he gets a feeling out process. That's what my NBA guy says.
Yeah, well, they're getting a point tonight.
That's it. Oh, fuck, then. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're as bad as they are. It's like they barely sneak into play. I'm like, what the fuck? But, I mean, LeBron...
Oh, well, they didn't have LeBron and AD for, like, loads of the end of the regular season. So, but they still have a shitty record. And they looked so bad the other day. They looked really bad when they lost to... I mean, they looked so bad, but they lost by 9 and they missed 11 free throws. And, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I will try and stay up to that. That's why I said to you today, I was like, let's just do the show early because I need to start... I need to start looking through NBA in a minute.
Is there any lines on if Rodgers is going to play for the Packers? He finally spoke yesterday.
Yeah, he'll play for the Packers. There's no...
man, he's pissed. He wants that general manager fired, and that is the whole thing. If that general manager gets fired, he will be back. If they say, I'm not going to let a player dictate us firing people, then... This is going to be this is a wild fucking time because he finally said it's not about Jordan. He liked the guy.
Oh, there is odds on that. There is odds on who his team will be.
That's very good because I keep hearing Saints get thrown in the mix, but I'm like, that's the same NFC. They're not going to fucking send him to the fucking... If anything, it would be the Broncos or the Raiders. Get out of there.
Yeah, they're the only two. Like, so it's minus 200 on the Packers. And then it's plus 250 on Broncos. They're the only real contenders. And then you got Vegas out at 6-1 and Saints at 14-1.
Jesus Christ. Wouldn't that be something? This is a wild time. I mean, we knew he wasn't going to show up to their little voluntary thing yesterday, but he's pissed. He's pissed. And he does everyone's like, man, he's fucking boring to listen to. It looked like he was on drugs. He's all fucking mellow. Did you watch the interview?
No.
I gotta send that to you. It's wild because they ask him questions. He dances around a bit. So let's get into SmackDown. The reason why we're all here, the A show, the good show, which is much more entertaining. But then again, it's entertaining to say how shitty something is. So maybe that helps. But you're on it, kid. You did SmackDown. Let's hear your SmackDown rundown.
Yeah. So it starts with but Austin tried to listen to our show this week.
Oh.
Like, Austin tried to actually listen to the podcast. Yeah, he doesn't like me on it.
Well, he's heard enough of you.
Yeah, doesn't like me on it.
Yeah, I mean, he hears you yell at him all day.
Sonya de Noseville opens up the show. Why'd you get that thing fixed?
You know what? A lot of lesbians have that nose. Look at Ellen DeGeneres. It always looked like they smelled something bad.
Well, and are they Jewish as well?
I don't know. DeGeneres, I don't think is Jewish. Is Sonya Jewish? What's her real name?
I don't know.
It's not DeVille.
Or is it?
Is it though? Because, no, that ain't DeVille. There's no way.
She's supposed to be like an MMA fighter. She's lucky.
It's Daria. Daria something. So, I mean, Daria's a rough name by itself.
She's unlucky she didn't get her nose broken, because a lot of those fighters, they get their nose broken and they get it fixed.
Then they can get it fixed, yeah. I mean, unlike...
But I just don't get why she just doesn't do it. Like, it's quite clearly looks pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean... some people fucking don't like a surgery, you know? I'd be like, I'd avoid surgery at all costs. There's a couple surgeries I probably need.
It's 40 minutes in and out. Like, 40 minutes.
Man.
40 minutes done.
I just hope Paige Van Zandt doesn't have to get her pretty nose broken. I got to send you more pictures, by the way.
I got sent a video the other day, like, with her getting her actual tits out and everything, but I didn't know if that was actually her. It looks exactly like her.
Oh, yeah. It's something. That website is something else.
Why is she just getting her tits out on this website?
People pay. You subscribe, and then she sends it to you, and you have to pay for other content, and she has them all priced out.
That's very weird she's doing that.
I know.
That's not going to help her get to the WWE.
You would think, I don't know. They're whores for money, too, so, you know.
Anyway, so, as I was saying,
Sonya
de Noseville opens up the show, announcing the fans are returning on 16th of July. I said that weeks before they actually said it. I also said something else. I don't know if you remember me saying it. It was nearly a year ago, actually. It was near SummerSlam, where I said that they were going to be off for sending out liability waivers.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they are doing that. That starts from the 16th. Yeah, so you have to sign it to say that if you die here and anything happens to you, it's nothing to do with them. You're only responsible for yourself. Huh. So I knew that they had the option of paying a high premium insurance before, or convincing people to sign liability waivers. Yeah. And the shareholders didn't think the liability waivers were a very good idea, but now everybody's opened up. So they're obviously, it's more acceptable to have them. I don't know if other companies do, but they do.
One thing that was funny on the show, did you realize when she said that Pierce wasn't there? Did you hear the excuse of what he was doing? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. Where they said, oh, he's not here because he's out scouting locations for when we tour. Like he's got to go to the fucking arena and I think this will be good for us.
Yeah, it's got lights, seats. Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks okay. He's got a clipboard. Okay, it looks all right. I'm going to fly to another state.
Maybe they're like scouting locations that can hold the Raw Underground.
Yeah, bring that back. We finally actually started liking something.
Yeah, I think it was okay. It was a good breakup from this shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe this other show said this show was good this week. Anyway, I finished this show, started this show. So I think here, I look around and think it's obvious to me that WWE have gone crazy with the political correctness, because I see only one white title holder. That's Natty. Everybody else is black or Latino or whatever. So Heyman comes out and says Roman isn't going to stand with these bums. He doesn't say that exactly, but I'm paraphrasing. And he's the true champion, and he'll come out by himself.
Were you worried that they were playing his old music? I was. I'm like, what the fuck? They're going back to it already?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh, Paul came out to the fucking, they go, oh, there's Roman's music. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It was his old Shield music.
Oh, Heyman's got the Shield music now.
Yes, Heyman had the Shield music.
That's weird. Bayley interrupts Sonya after Heyman is done. Heyman gets done with his speech, and Bayley comes out. She interrupts Sonya, tries talking again. She berates all the champions except Apollo, and she says, "What up, Apollo?" And Aziz. I thought that was good. Just that acknowledgement of Apollo alone was good, because it shows that she's in tune, like more so than the other performers. Definitely more so than some of these newer people that come in and put belts on, like Bianca and Rhea Ripley, who I think are both garbage. Bianca comes to the ring. She's randomly attacked by Nia and Shayna, who don't really have an issue with her. Bayley joins in. Obviously, Natty and Tamina come down, make the save, and I predict in my own head, my voice in my head tells me 6-man tag match, and I'm right. I blame Teddy Long for this, because
that's all they do.
Because the thing is that none of this was. Do you remember that there was this period where SmackDown wasn't going to be on Fridays anymore, and they were going to be moving it over to Tuesdays, or it was on Thursdays and it moved to Fridays. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was this period where SmackDown had just become very, very, very clearly number 2. It was like, oh, you still watch SmackDown? That was at one point. It's like, oh, I don't watch. Sometimes I watch Smack. I remember it clearly because this was one of the only times where it's like, sometimes I watch SmackDown, sometimes I watch the highlights of SmackDown, but I always watch Raw. And I remember this. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was definitely around about a time where everything was becoming tag matches or whatever. Now, to have this like be just a regular thing, like this guy obviously is a Hall of Famer and everything, but he's associated to the worst thing in wrestling. Like the laziest booking idea they ever came up with in wrestling was when people make the save, where back in the day it used to be like, oh, this match is going to be on the pay-per-view, like fucking Mr. Perfect save Randy Savage. So now it's going to be a pay-per-view match, or at least next week on Raw, like Rock and Austin are going to be a team against the NWO or whatever.
I mean, think about that. They had the Mega Powers and Mega Bucks was the main event of a major pay-per-view, a fucking tag team match. Now you would think about it, you go, it is, I would never want to watch a fucking tag team match as the fucking main event of anything, you know?
I mean, it's not as bad. The other thing where they go, you're going one-on-one with The Undertaker or whatever. Sure. It's like, okay, yeah, Undertaker's going to squash some guy that, has some heat, right? His punishment is to face The Undertaker. That makes sense. But this fucking straight-up tag match, which have also started the pattern of running matches through the break and everything. Yeah. I can't believe this still exists. They haven't come up with a better idea. I mean, this was...
Why not have one-on-one 3 different times? Have this girl against this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl. Just each one of them, they're paired off. And then you can kill half the show with 3 matches.
But it's always the way they get. It's not even a case of they have the tag match booked before the show. It's like they book these segments where they have this interference and then they make people fight immediately after. You come back from the break, it's like, oh,
they're
this
already
match
in the ring.
Was made. Yes, how can this possibly happen in real sports? This is not. I thought there was something that happened the other day, and it's not coming to into my mind now. Oh yeah, like it hasn't happened in real sports, but there's this big debate going on in boxing at the moment where Tyson Fury wants to fight Anthony Joshua in the heavyweight division, and Deontay Wilder, who lost last time to Fury convincingly, he has a rematch clause in his contract. He has a contract for an automatic rematch, or they have to pay him to step aside. So he refused the money to step aside because he wants to fight, even though he lost the last one like convincingly. I think there was something wrong with him, to be honest, because he lost in such a bad way, it just didn't look right. So I feel like
it was carrying that big fucking metal armor to the ring.
Yeah, that's what he says. So he's interrupting that fight that they want to see, and everybody's going, "Oh, this isn't what anybody wants to see." And then AJ's mad at Joshua, and AJ's mad at Fury, and Fury's mad at Joshua. And I just like I just joked like on the comments, was like, if this was wrestling, I said Vince McMahon knows how to fix this. Just put them in there with a triple threat match. But the thing
triple
is
threat box, can you imagine?
It's the most ridiculous thing. It's laughable to anybody else. To say to anybody that 3 fighters are going to go in there and they're going to like fight each other and they'll take like turns, or they might team up, or the concept is so ridiculous in anything else, but in wrestling it's like, oh yeah, we'll just make like triple threat matches and we'll get champions to lose, and then if the champions lose, then he'll get the match to beat him. It's like,
God,
they have loads of non-title fights on UFC. They get people in on Saturday nights and and the champion has to like the champion loses like 7 times before he gets put into title matches, and then he actually has to put his belt on the line.
And then
all this stuff that happens in wrestling, all this week-to-week stuff is such bullshit. It's all the stuff that I would get rid of. I would get rid of champions losing. I would get rid of like matches that are made immediately because people jumped on each other. I'd get sometimes it's made in a ways where one guy's talking and another guy comes down and talks and another guy comes down and talks. It's going to happen. I guarantee it. In 4 weeks, you'll be watching it, be going, I'm going to win the Money in the Bank because no, I'm going to win the Money in the Bank, and no, I'm going to win the Money in the Bank, and then it'll be like, okay, so you're going to win the Money in the Bank, then all the good guys in the Money in the Bank will go up against the bad guys in the Money in the Bank right now. You'll see it 100%. It's the same shit. It's like the same. It's like if they'd stumbled upon the magic formula of what works, which I think they have. Then I would understand it, but you haven't. You haven't stumbled upon anything. You've stumbled upon the laziest ways to fill out a show, but you haven't stumbled upon any kind of magic formula that entertains anybody. Okay, so let's move on because I think we're way off track.
We're already 35 minutes in.
Corbin is out next complaining about losing his crown to Nakamura. We then see Nakamura wearing the crown all week. This is actually good up until this point, but then it falls off a cliff because Nakamura is played to the ring by an electric guitarist. I don't have an issue with that either because that was the cool part of his music. Until I realized this is his new manager, Rick Bogues. I think I got his name.
Bogues, yeah. He had to spell it because you couldn't understand it.
He then distracts Corbin, and Nakamura wins with a small package. So Nakamura wins this match with interference from an electric guitar player. He
played the guitar, and Corbin was distracted.
Exactly. He doesn't need an electric guitar player who's his manager, who helps him get wins in matches. Like for me, I don't know why it's taken so long, but I've totally jumped the shark now with this character. They're not going to get it right. Actually, only NXT got it right, and you can see if you watch the NXT show, they get it right with a lot of people. Vince McMahon, the genius, got his hands on this character, and he fucking killed it. He absolutely destroyed it. I don't know what he did with this guy.
You know what? We should all pretend that Velveteen Dream was brought to the main roster 3 months ago. And let's just pretend that's what happened. Because it's the same thing. We would have never seen him again. It'd have been fucking washed out. Which, congratulations getting Velveteen Dream fired, these fucking losers. Oh, fucking, I see people fucking, I hope he's crying somewhere. Fuck off. Meanwhile, Triple A, everybody said there was nothing to all this fucking thing after investigating.
He released a statement this week. Velveteen Dream was, It
was too fucking long. I couldn't fucking read that whole thing. I was like, this is too much.
Well, I read it.
Yeah, what did he say? I know he was saying he didn't comment because he tried to stay K5.
Yeah, he said he always tries to stay like K5, and he explained all the situations. And I don't know, there's not much in there other than you needing to make a decision as to whether you believe his story or not. Yeah. And I, to be honest, I don't give a fuck. Like I always say to you,
go.
I defend Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But if there was videos of him doing it,
yeah, who cares?
Yeah, the music would not be played any less. The tattoos would not be coming off. The pictures would not be coming down. They're not. Listen, it's not my children. I don't care.
Yeah.
So,
hey, we're horrible. I don't care either. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You know what I did? I immediately ran to YouTube and watched a bunch of his entrances of Velveteen Dream. The one guy who was innovative and fucking creative, that's who they get rid of. That's what they decided to do. That young of a guy too.
To be honest, in their defense, from what I'm writing this up as like a story this week, but I'll put it up in more detail. But my brief understanding of it is that people wouldn't shut the fuck up. People would not shut the fuck up. So they wanted to sweep it under the rug, and they did their investigation and everything, and they wanted to push this guy to the point where he was on Raw backstage a few weeks before he was released. Now, this is a positive thing because I don't think you even get to talk to Vince because if they're firing you,
yeah,
Vince is just going to be like, I don't need to talk to this guy. Like, I don't need the awkward interaction. I'm busy with whatever, you know? Like, I don't need to meet him, right? But he met Vince. And I believe that from this conversation that they decided to say, look, this isn't going away. We need to shut these people up. We need to fucking give them the vindication to say, you wanted him fired, he got fired. And then when he gets hired back, then it's a clean slate where you can say that he's made his apologies.
Yeah.
We took his money away. He did sensitivity classes on this, that, bullshit,
Who'd they do that
whatever.
to before? Someone did that, right? Somebody got canned and came back pretty soon afterwards. Fuck.
Brian, but it wasn't for
that's true.
this.
That's true. Brian.
That was just for strangling that.
Yeah, that was retarded too.
But the fact is that you don't get to meet Vince, and I believe that the action plan was actioned basically at that discussion where it turned around and said, "We know you're a star. We know you've got it. We want to, you know, we don't want to give up on this, but it's impossible to put you on TV because the social media is just flooded when you're on with your hashtag Fire Velveteen Dream." So,
Jesus.
And that's because these fucking dickheads, they genuinely felt like they feel like they have a relevant voice, and they feel like they could get him fired. I think once someone is hired, I don't think you feel like you can get him fired. The realistic at that point in time where people, when they destroyed Joey Ryan and everything like that, they felt like they could get as many people as they could. Thing is that with Matt Riddle, they gave up on it when he came out and addressed his allegations and everything, and now they see him getting a push on TV. WWE went ahead with the uninterrupted push and continuously put him on TV. The geezer didn't have a week off. He didn't have a week off at all. They were just like, "Fuck you. We don't care. Like, we're behind this character. We're gonna." But they didn't do that with the Dream. They got too scared. They actually felt like there was something. There was something that they needed to look into. But I don't think like it's realistic that you'll get Matt Riddle fired now, and because it's not. And I think with Dream comes back, once someone is rehired and they turn around and say he did this, that, and the other, they will shut the fuck up. It will work and you're also seeing people like us who weren't asking for him to get fired. It didn't make sense to go on and go, "Fuck you, don't fire him."
Yeah.
Because hashtag don't fire someone is not a hashtag. It never, right? But now it's like I'm seeing the other half of the people that are angry.
Good.
And saying what a waste and how unfortunate it all is, etc. So I think now that when he comes back, I don't think that will be a thing anymore. And I do think he'll come back as long as he doesn't fuck it up and do any dumb shit in between, because I have heard from people that he is pretty fucking dumb. That he is really fucking stupid.
I mean, he's a young fucking kid. He's very in that early 20s. So, you know, you do, I mean, think of yourself that young. You know, weren't that fucking smart with a lot of shit.
I think if they told him that you'll come back, he'll probably, you know, not do anything stupid.
Hopefully.
So I think, yeah, if he doesn't fuck any kids between now and then, he'll be fine.
I went to go get his shirt last night because it's on there still, his shirts. I want the fucking OVA, and it says Velveteen Dream on. I think it's on sale. It's like 40% off now. I think it's like $15.
I've got the copy of his shirt where they copied the purple or
NWO.
Pink. No, the Macho Man shirt. He had a copy of the Macho Man shirt.
Oh, see, I'm trying to get the yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, where it had the 3 fucking glasses on there. Yeah, see, and this one was the NWO one, so I'm like, oh, I like that. Let me try to get this before it's fucking gone.
Where are we at on SmackDown? Okay, so this came up from Nakamura. So Roman comes out, does his usual routine. It's all fine as usual. He calls out Jimmy, gets Cesaro instead. Roman ridicules him. Rollins comes out, beats him, and I make the point here in my notes where I say, I don't know if Seth Rollins thinks that these are heel suits, because this doesn't work unless you're the Joker. He looks too comedic to me. He looks like a clown. Like, he can't be dressed like this and go into a main event level program. I mean, I don't know why he's doing this. Okay, like, I know he was wearing nice suits before, where it was like, oh, you know, you got like sick drip, whatever the kids say. But now it's just like with this fucking graffiti on it and these little bits of like, oh, whatever's on there. Like that last one, the pure white one with the bits of
paint.
Yeah, that's it. It looks terrible. Like some of these suits are awful, and this is not. It's weird. It's strange to me what people think the makings of a heel is. Like, oh, this makes me a heel, that makes me a heel. Yeah, but a main event heel is fucking different. A main event heel acts the way Orton acted in the time, or the way Ric Flair did. Ric Flair, when he had this whole thing with Ric Flair's drip, where it all comes from, that was all Rolexes and expensive ties and $1,500 shoes and all this kind of shit. Like, it wasn't, you know, peacocking.
Yeah, he's like, Don Cherry, if you know who Don Cherry is.
I don't, but
he's from like Hockey Night in Canada. He wears like a crazy fucking jacket and tie and suit or something every fucking show. Like, he's that, you know, peacock, like you said. You know, it's always, oh, what's he wearing? So it's like the same exact fucking outfits.
Yeah, I think Rollins actually played a heel much better this week on the bump when he was talking with Adam Cole. I think when everybody acts more human, it's a lot better. Let's get going here. Dominic Mysterio and Rude is next. Dominic wins with a frog splash. They keep saying it's a tribute to Eddie, but in WWE story, Eddie Guerrero was a man who tried to ruin this kid's life by gaining custody of him and falsely claiming he was his dad, even selling T-shirts saying, "I'm your pappy." But actually, what we'll do is
wear that shirt to the ring. That'd be so fucking good. Oh my God.
But we'll forget what history as it actually happened, like these A&E documentaries do. Especially this Warrior one this week was such a mess.
I haven't seen it yet.
They tried to half do what happened at the end. Like, it was like an hour in, right? And they were only up to 1992, where he like made a little comeback or whatever. There was like 20 minutes left. He tried to squeeze in. He came back for his comic books. He came back, said his dad died. He didn't care that his dad really died, so I didn't believe the excuse, and I fired him. And then they like chucked in like all these controversies, and it was like a little bit of this video, and then they had some video of like one lecture, and then
where he's yelling, queering, and everything.
Yeah, but it was like really, really like tightly squeezed in. It was like, well, what's going on? Like, why is he doing this? Like, what's he talking about? What's the issue? And they tried to kind of say that he was influenced by podcasts or something he started listening to, and they also started to say that he wasn't the same after their DVD, and he got bitter, and that's why he started going off on other wrestlers and stuff like that. So there was excuses for everything, but they did acknowledge everything. The best part in there, you have to watch it for this alone. They've dug up some shit, which these fucking company, right? They film everything. Like, I would love to go through their like archives and see what they've actually got there. What they gave to A&E was insane. So there was this like employee or this partner, sponsor or something that worked with the WWE. His kid went up to Warrior at the airport, and Warrior just told him to fuck off.
Oh.
Right? So Vince, it got back to Vince, and Vince, because it was such a major person who was involved with WWE, he wanted him to make an apology video for the kid. Like, he said, Warriors in character. And Warriors got going, fuck this shit, I don't want to do it. Like, he's going to, so Vince has written his script, and Warriors saying, sometimes in life you make a mistake, and he stops going, he goes, fuck this, I didn't make a mistake.
Oh, wow, that's great.
and Vince is going, why are you getting so worked up for? He goes, it's just a work, just do it in character. He goes, just get through. He goes, we're working here. He goes, but this is bullshit. He goes, I didn't do this. He goes, what am I apologizing for? And like, then there's this whole like back and forth between him and Vince, where Vince is trying to produce him, and he's like reluctant, and he's reluctantly trying to do this video because he refuses to apologize to his kid.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I mean, they keep every tape. They do not get rid of anything. Because then they got proof. They go, well, there's one time he was an asshole, and then everyone's like, no, that never happened. They go, oh, yeah, here's the tape.
Oh, that's what someone was saying to me. They were saying, like, they had so many things where Bret Hart was a dick that when that if he didn't, that he knew that if he didn't go back and work with them in 2006 and accept the Hall of Fame in the DVD, that he was getting a DVD called Screwed, the Bret Hart story, which was going to be the same as the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. So Brett saw the Warrior one and thought, fuck, I have to like fucking go back.
It's like blackmail.
Yeah, it was, because he knew that he'd been a dick to people on things that they must have had.
That's great. And you know, it's so funny that Russo, he likes all the guys that everyone hates. Like every bad story about the Warrior, he's like, oh, Warrior was a great guy.
So he's on this documentary. Russo's on this, but then there's another part of the podcast saying, why is Russo in this? Doesn't make sense. They must have just liked how he came across, and he must have been a good controversial figure for the documentary, and he must have given them some good lines that they liked, because he was probably only there for the Foley one, because that's next week. He goes, but they probably just had some good Warrior quotes, but he said he didn't belong there because he didn't even know the guy. So I want to like play that to Vince and say, oh, they're saying you didn't even know the guy.
Jesus.
Because obviously we know that he did, but this show was like burying Russo this week, saying he didn't belong there and it didn't make any sense. Where are we at with SmackDown?
You're with a string of promos.
Yeah. This is a weird bit on the show. We get a string of promos here. Uso's in the back. Jimmy has got them a tag match with the Street Profits next week. Roman's pissed off when Jay tells him.
Not the Street Profits, as you wrote.
Oh, Street Idiots, yeah. The Street Profits then cut like a fucking terrible promo where they're mocking. They got good. Like they can make this good here. They got the material to make this good, where they can mock Roman, Jay, Jimmy, but they don't. They say nothing good at all that entertains me at all. Finally, we get Sammy out there talking about the upcoming Intercontinental Title 4-way match. We also heard earlier in the night from Big E, Kevin Owens earlier. Nothing relevant. That is the main event. Apollo wins the Fatal 4-way with the help of Aziz and Aleister Black. Aziz saves a 3 count, but for Big E, but then he's taken out before the lights go out. I said the nights go out, typo. Nights go out, and Aleister Black comes in and hits the Black Mass on Big E. And I say, somebody, I can't believe this, deserves credit for remembering that Seth Rollins injured his eye, and they're sticking with it. So the whole time that he was wearing that fucking terrible eye patch with those leather fucking trousers, he's actually now come out and he has the one eye. Obviously, it's that contact that's been on sale for like 20 years. It's not like, this would be a good effect. Maybe. Also, if you didn't have another fucking character doing it on Raw with Alexa. But yeah, I mean, at least they are doing it. Did Ray get his eye back?
Yeah, Ray's eyes back. Yeah, he got it all.
So they can still do that too. But at the moment, he still has the one eye, and he looks thinner. Like, not that he was fat or anything, but he looks more cut than before. I've seen on his Instagram some shit where he's going, "Oh, I train with this guy, and I'm completely the pure vegan athlete. I'm vegan fitness and all this shit," and that kind of like made it less special that he done that, because I thought, oh, this guy's done well, but then when I see this been done like a sort of a faggy way, sort of takes it away. But I mean, and we know what this dickhead's like we've interacted with him online. We know that the kind of shit he's into. I mean, he probably is one of these guys that got married, and what's his wife's name?
Fucking Thea.
No, I know it's Selena Vega.
Yeah.
What's Trinidad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something Trinidad. And what's his real name?
Him? I don't fucking know his name.
Anyway, let's say it's Aleister Black for argument's sake. He's probably one of these guys that changes their name to Aleister Black Trinidad, and then she's like going to be. You see the men that do this now.
Yeah. Well, Jesse Ventura just took the wife's name and got rid of his.
Who did?
Jesse Ventura.
He took his wife's name.
Yeah, Ventura's his wife's name. Sounds better.
Oh, maybe if it sounds better.
Yeah.
But there's these guys that are like that are agreeing with their wives to double barrel both names.
Oh,
so
boy.
like say, what's your real name's Manning, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
my real.
It's Cavalier.
Yeah, it's Cavalier.
Why does the fucking other one sound more like?
I know, word? Right? The fucking good one is the real one. Shit.
So, what's your girlfriend's surname?
Heights.
Heights. So you'd be Chris Cavalier Heights, and then she'd be, what's her first name?
Trisha.
So she'd be Trisha Heights Cavalier.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what. That's a lot. I know a guy. Yeah, he's a friend of mine. He did porn scenes. He was the porn star I used, and he got married and he moved to. I think he's moved to Amsterdam. I think, and yeah, he's got his wife's name. He's like Benedict Garrett is his name, but now he's Benedict Garrett Dajibi. Like, and she's like something Dajibi. Yeah, I can't. It's this whole equality.
It's too much to write.
It's this whole like equal rights, equal bullshit thing.
I don't even write Cavalier when I sign something. I scribble Cav as a last name. You know, I'm like, that's enough. Just too much to fucking do.
You got 7 minutes to do Raw.
Yeah, here we go.
It's that.
Yeah, well, it's easy because it's all punchlines. Bobby with strippers from a fully nude place, because these are the ones that are skranks. Any place that does fully nude, those women are skranks. You know that. One is a scribble board for fucking tattoos. She had shit all over her. Another one bench presses trucks. Did you see her in the background with the big Batista vein?
These girls were not good. Like, there was no one there you'd really like.
Yeah, no.
You think could work for the company or anything.
Yeah, because the one looked like she was a fucking bodybuilder. Her fucking legs were enormous, and I just saw the vein in her shoulder, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Drew comes out, of course. He says he wants a title shot. Imagine that. Kofi comes out. Pierce says, all right, the two of you have a match. Winner gets Bobby Hell in a Cell. Now they have, this is a theme throughout the night. They have superstars.
Did you notice how Kofi said that he never got his rematch that he didn't ask for?
Against
for a
Brock.
Year and a half.
Yeah, he said, fuck this. They actually have each superstar, not each one, but multiple throughout the night, talk about how they can't wait to be in front of the crowd again. I'm like, it's embarrassing. I go, oh my God, kiss that ass.
Mandy and Sonya reading their lines.
Mandy and Dana.
And their reason. Mandy and, who did I say? Mandy. Oh yeah, Mandy and Dana now, isn't it? First of all, Dana Brooke looks about 50. I don't know what's happened to her, but she looks so old.
What's with her belly? Did you see the splotches? I don't know if that's the tanning going away, like the fake tanner, but there was like weird shit on her belly where I was like, is she getting the cold sculpting where they freeze your fucking gut? Is that how she lost weight? Because it was very odd looking.
I'm gonna get that.
Oh, that looks fucking crazy. Make a big brick on your belly. Oh my God.
That's got to be better than it's got to be. Liposuction is fucking really invasive though, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not losing lockdown weight now. Well, at this age, if I fucking 10 years ago, I'd get this off in a fucking.
Oh
month.
Yes, wait until you're my age. It doesn't fucking. You're like, I starve yourself. Nothing happens. You go, what the fuck happened?
No, yeah, I'm counting luck now. Like last week, I was on fucking 1,000 calories a day for the whole week. And I lost 2 kg, which is fucking 4 pounds.
Wow.
So I can't
live like that.
I can't lose 4 pounds in fucking eating 1,000. Like it will take, you're telling me I need to lose 20 pounds. So it's going to cost me it's going to take me 3 months to do. And the thing is that I can't even see the fat anywhere except in one place.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to I'd honestly rather throw any amount of money at something as opposed to not be able to eat properly, because there's too much fucking food that I want to have.
Way too good food,
and especially if I get over to where you guys are. And apparently Nick called me today and said, "Oh, it's gonna be any day now. We're gonna open up." Mm-hmm. I honestly, if that's true.
Oh yeah, it is true.
I'll be at Money in the Bank if they open up.
Yeah, because they're for me, it's June 15th. Everything's wide open and no mask. We're good. We're done. So that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, but that's the borders is a very different thing though.
Yeah.
For these people coming in from other countries, that's different. But my point was Dana and Mandy's script here is, we can't wait to be back in the car busting out these road tunes.
I laughed because I almost started writing because I said, you know what, I'll remember it. They weren't tag teaming when this went beforehand. This is the first they've been together. So how are they? They weren't riding together.
Also, why can't they drive now?
Where are they going to drive to their house? I guess they can't take long trips together. I don't know. Fuck. You imagine that fun?
If you're looking forward to it that much, like if you enjoy it so much, just fucking drive around. I mean, I'm sure you can drive down. I don't think they live in Tampa.
Bro, go down.
They're fucking so stupid. And Mandy Rose, what a fucking waste. I don't think she's gonna ever be anything now.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna be what she is right now, I think. All right, Kofi versus Drew. Bobby and MVP interfere. No winner. The acting on Saxon, which I talked to earlier, the concerned and confused face looking in the ring. Charlotte and Rhea in the back. Nikki shows up and says, I could beat either of you. Either one. It's fine. And Charlotte's like, you're beneath me. And Rhea's like, this is why nobody fucking likes you. Because everybody's beneath you and this and that. And then Charlotte says, okay, why don't you beat her in 2 minutes then? So Rhea says, okay, no problem. Pawns her off. So now we got a 2-minute beat the clock match. Nikki versus Rhea. Now listen to this. Nikki lasts 2 minutes. She's running around like she won the world. This is if you're happy that you lasted 2 minutes and didn't fucking lose within 2 minutes, you'd be ashamed of yourself. She's jumping around like she's taking victory laps, and it's like, oh my God, Rhea's so upset she lasted more than 2 whole minutes. Like so obviously they've said she's complete trash. That's what she is then. She's trash.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's exactly what I thought. Coming off the back of this,
yeah,
they're making sure that people know that you're not like important at all.
Yeah,
with the way you're running around and stuff. This was obviously a directive.
So Charlotte comes out. She laughs at Nikki. Laughs at Rhea for fucking this up, and Nikki does the nose and on her thumb thing that we talked about last week, and now I assume she's gonna lose to Asuka. That's what I even write. I think she's going to lose to Asuka when she fucking wrestles her next, because then Rhea will go, oh, haha, you lost too. Fuck you. So both of them have lost, But before this, Priest talks about touring now. Fuck. Charlotte versus Asuka. I'm surprised Charlotte actually wins this. She wears out Asuka's knee, gets a win. Now we get Mandy and Dana, like we talked about. Now we get Pierce talks to Sarah, and why do I say that? Pierce, Sarah. What the fuck is wrong with these notes? Well, anyway, he talks to somebody and says, we're going to have this match next week for the #1 contender, which we talked about earlier. So it was kind of a fucking waste of, like we said, we watched all that for fucking nothing. Okay. And that's... What's the fucking... All my notes are fucking deleted. Did you delete any of my fucking notes? They're gone. No. After that, I have nothing else. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're on my phone and not on the iPad. I went to my fucking phone. They're gone. And I made all notes about the fucking... about Riddle with Woods, which is a great fucking match because of the whole...
I'm seeing your notes exactly... I'm seeing your notes exactly as is. So, like...
What does it say after the suspended? If Bobby interferes, he's suspended. I have nothing to delete that. Yeah. What the fuck? They're all gone. That's what I'm saying. They're gone.
I haven't opened this like until now, so.
Wow. Yeah, they're all fucking gone. Okay. Well, what can I remember now? I know that there was a match between fucking Woods and Riddle wins with an RKO. I
wonder who did. This hasn't been open since the 25th of May, 4:01, which was
at 4:01.
Yeah, this morning. The 4:01 my time is this morning. So this was right at the end of Raw. Nobody's changed it since the end of Raw.
So what was the match after this? What's after this? Is that match the end of the night? What the fuck ends the show?
The only thing that ends the show after this.
The woman's thing. That's where we go. It is the tag. But there's also
the Sheamus thing. You haven't put anything for the Sheamus thing either, where Sheamus beats Career.
Yeah, and you know what? Wow, that's fucking bizarre. Wait a minute. Let me fucking look on something else here.
You must have fallen. Maybe you fell asleep.
No,
but your last note is at 4:01.
See, that makes no fucking sense.
which is 1 minute after Raw.
Because I even type in that what the fuck happened to Humberto, because they constantly say he was hurt, but they don't tell us what the hell happened to him when he fought Sheamus. So we get that match, which is, again, with the fucking Humberto and Sheamus, constantly Humberto getting beat up, and Ricochet shows up just to beat the shit out of Sheamus. Then they both start doing splashes on Sheamus, beating him up. That's how that goes. We end up with the tag match, as Billy said, again, the 5th time. And they make a big deal out of it. Like, this is your main event, and everyone stands there to be introduced. And it's Nia and Shayna against the tag champs, Tamina and Natty. And there is no sommelier with them. Reggie is not there until later. And he comes down. The one thing that I thought was fantastic was all of the fucking references Corey Graves was using. Did you hear all the fucking Stevie Wonder fucking lines he was using? Constantly.
No, I know. I hear the drug references that he does for Riddle and stuff, but no, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, he was just doing all names of the fucking songs for them, which was fucking great. All the names of songs for Stevie Wonder. And so he comes down to the ring, of course, gets a fucking distraction. Shayna tells him to fucking leave. He starts to walk up the ramp, and fire explodes again. Everybody's distracted. She gets fucking pinned. That's the end of it. So afterwards,
and Alexa's not even there.
No,
Alexa's not even there on the show this week. I think it's because her pig died or something.
I saw that 2 minutes before we started doing the show that her pig was dying. I'm like, boy, those things only last 4 years.
What did you think it was about this show? That I know you probably wasn't paying full attention, but what do you think it was about this show where they looked at Adnan and thought that we can't do it anymore? Like,
I think it's probably just the same shit we always see with. It's just bad. It's just bad acting and oh my god, like the fake enthusiasm. That's pretty much it.
But there was one part that's like because Graves has completely stopped playing off him. Like he said for the first couple of weeks, he was like, "You'll learn that, Adnan. You'll learn that, Adnan," and then he like is now just throwing him under a bus when he makes the stupid comments. Like he knows that he ain't going to be there that long. And this week, Adnan asked both of them, he goes, guys, tell me what it was like what was it like here when Kofi Mania was going on? And I was like, I heard that comment and I was just thinking, there's no way to answer that. There's no, what are they supposed to turn around and say? Plus, why do you not know what, like, that's your job to have like caught up with things, because you know in some instances he sits there and pretends, where he turns around and he gives out he learned all these weird facts where he turns around and was like, oh, so and so once had a match with so and so, and I noticed he was doing that. It was quite clear that he'd been on the network or he'd been like cramming stuff in.
Yeah.
But then he turns around and asks these guys this week, he goes, oh yeah, guys, tell me about, he goes, what was it like when the last time we had Kofi Mania? It's like, what do you fucking say?
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. What was that like? And he was like, yeah, what the hell was his answer to that? It was like, oh, it's fuck, I don't even know what the hell he said. I think they kind of blew it off and kept on going.
Well, that's what you have to do. There's no way that what are you supposed to say?
Yeah, you go, it was awesome. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your fucking Raw, and because it's going to be Shayna versus Reggie next week. Now he's fighting women, and it was, her intensity was good. I like that. She was like, she got that, grabbed him by the coat, fucking screaming at him like, I'm fucking had it with you, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. You know. So
this is the fifth time they've had this match.
With the tag match or with those two?
No, with the pairings.
Yes, yeah. I don't know that it was 5, but it sounds about right.
Yeah, it's 5 times in the last. It's 5 times in the last 6 weeks.
Jesus Christ. Well,
either on one show or the other.
There is your Raw and Smackdown rundown. Hope we gave you as much information as humanly fucking possible. I think we did. We gave a lot of opinions too before the show started.
Yeah, I have to watch the Warrior thing. Like,
I totally will. I have it recorded, so I will. I have to see. And then Dark Side of the Ring will be good.
I have to troll through like 100 fucking pop-ups and everything just to get this on. And then I have to put it onto my. It doesn't give me an Apple TV option. It gives me a screen share option.
Yeah.
So then I have to like turn my phone around in a position. Hope that no one texts me so that like it doesn't come down on the screen. And then I need like a clear 1 hour and 20 where the phone is just like disconnected from the world, and I can't use it either because screen sharing it just adds whatever's on the screen.
That's funny. Jesus Christ.
But that's the only way I've been trying to get through these things. And I heard like I read that Genius did like a big like essay about his thoughts of the Randy Savage thing because people were asking him, and he goes, "Oh, I couldn't get it. I live in where does he live? He lives in Zimbabwe or something.
Really?
Fuck, he lives in some third world country that he moved to. I don't know why. But he said, I couldn't get it here. I'm sure it's Zimbabwe because it's too random for it not to be. But he said, he goes, but then I found out you could buy it on iTunes, so I bought it. It's like, I can't do that. I can't. Otherwise, I would for the clarity to have it to be clear. Yeah. Plus, I'd keep these because these are better documentaries than some of the ones that I've seen. But yeah, I can't do that. I'm fucking struggling here to get hold of these. I'm surprised they don't end up on the network at some point. Maybe they will.
Maybe these will, yeah. But just not Dark Side of the Ring, that's for sure. All right. I'm Cav Manning, or Chris Cavalier, as you've learned today. That's a Nable body. Ready, willing, and Nable. We'll see.
I want you to watch something this week, by the way, before we go.
Okay, what's that?
I want you to, as a compare, it's the last episode, March the 19th of WWF Superstars, March 19th, 1994.
Okay, March 19th.
It's the road to WrestleMania 10.
Okay.
But there's no matches, there's no squash matches or anything on it. It's just like they show you why they're having all the matches.
Okay.
It's so fucking good.
All
it's
right.
like so like you want to just put the Mania on after.
All right, I'm writing
it's like
down.
Todd Pangel the whole way talking about why they're having the matches.
Porn for you.
It's Johnny Polo and Vince McMahon walking around New York City, which is good as well. And Johnny, do you know who Johnny Polo is?
Yeah,
who was?
Yeah. I'm like, it's quite a difference. Quite a difference.
It is, but it isn't because it's only a year. It's only like a year after this.
Yeah, that's why he's like that Rhea Ripley. Like I never believed it. I'm like, no, this can't be what he's into. Look at him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week.
My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as a big-ass piece of shit.